without erroring or glitching out the zombie spawns. You have to perform an exploit with beast mode in the spawn room to access this area without opening the first room door. But once you're out, as long as you open the other 2 doors out of the area, you won't be killed by death barriers and the junction turns into a 2 spawn. The problem is that this area quickly becomes very glitchy as it's not meant to be used like this. If a meatball tries to spawn, unless you're standing in a few certain spots, it causes all the zombies to stop spawning for the duration of that meatball's spawn animation, effectively interrupting your game several times per minute. However, you can prevent meatballs from doing this by delaying opening Pack-a-Punch for as long as possible. In this case, Faded and Jack didn't open Pack-a-Punch until round 65. After a certain point, the Apothicon Servant, aka the Squid Gun, and the sword won't be able to carry you through rounds with limited ammo, and you'll need AATs to assist. In this case, Blast Furnace and Thunderwall, because Deadwire doesn't charge the sword. Speaking of the sword, once Faded and Jack had their full setup, both fell into a routine of combining the unupgraded sword with AAT blasts. The unupgraded sword is actually better for this strategy as it will hit the spawn below you in the canal, unlike the upgraded version. Faded and Jack would use the sword for about a third of its charge, then use an AAT proc or 2 to recharge it, so they could trade off killing while the AAT cooled down. This got them all the way to 207 in just 43 hours. Unfortunately, at this point, they were brought down by technical difficulties. Jack, who was blue player, kept getting kicked and receiving an error that was possibly linked to him updating the camo mod they were both using. Since they couldn't continue, Faded ended up quitting out. The world record on the Giant is actually the max round of 255 by SniperCat and KXG124, or KEG. Well, kind of. First, let me explain what they did in this game, then I'll explain the problem. Unlike previous records, SniperCat and KEG spent the entire game holding the VMP room next to spawn, with the debris at the top of the stairs closed. This makes this area only have 4 spawns, and there's an electric trap you can utilize right between them. KEG would hit it, then train at the front of the room with Deadwire and turned when it turned off and recharged. SniperCat would train at the back of the room, around the furnace with Deadwire, turned, and the Wonderwaff. Yes, despite the fact that the Wonderwaff looks like the Terminator in this gameplay, and the VMP looks like a Clash of Clans reward, this is just a cosmetic mod which is allowed by Zombies World Records rules. They managed to reach all the way until the rounds could no longer go up at 255, and this was actually the first co-op 255 with classic gums only ever. However, there's a bit of a controversy around SniperCat himself. Earlier this year, SniperCat was found to have spliced footage in another one of his world records, his Verrucht 255 solo game. Because this obviously breaks ZWR rules, he was blacklisted from the site and all his records were deleted from the leaderboards, including this Giant game. However, the community hasn't come to much of a consensus on whether all his records should be rolled back or if only the Verrucht game should be. It's highly unlikely that this game is cheated at all, especially since obviously KEG was there the whole time. But if you don't want to consider it the record, the next highest round is 210 by Gizzy Gao and Mr. Flawless back in 2020. These two did the old strategy of staying in the spawn room with the door to the left side of the map closed. One player can simply stand in this corner while the other trains the zombies in the space in front of them, using a combination of Deadwire, turned, and fireworks. The game finally ended when the pair reset on a break, as this was before the days of leaving and rejoining, and players just held windows for sleepers and, in this case, work breaks. By Black Ops 1 standards, they had 73 hours of breaks in a 144-hour period, or about half the game. Der Eisendrock's world record is 216, fittingly by the Germans, ZQ Shady on white and Just Tactical on blue. These two use Cherry Strat. It's a strategy where you stand at the top of the left-hand staircase inside the church, with the debris behind you closed, and use it as a bottleneck to camp. Since the zombies only come from one direction, but you have space to maneuver on the landing, you can shoot once or twice with Deadwire and turned, reload with Electric Cherry to stun the zombies, pull out and slam the Ragnaroks to clear the staircase, and then recharge them with another 1 or 2 Deadwire shots, and repeat. The only time lost was from ammo runs, and to minimize those, when one player ran out of Deadwire ammo, they'd swap to overlooking the balcony and shooting the incoming zombies with the remainder of their turned ammo, while the first player took their job. This area is also very good for camping with the Stormbow or Firebow when they got a max ammo or Alchem. For Panzers, since they're quite lethal on this map, They'd run into the death ray trap and turn it on under him to immobilize him, then shoot the crap out of him with their guns. But, as you might know, 3 panzers spawn on co-op instead of 1, and the death ray doesn't last long enough to immobilize all of them. Luckily, there's an easy feature you can use to take down the panzer's co-op partners. The plunger will gain the flame effect for a short time, allowing one-hit kills on any subsequent panzers, making them very easy to take care of. Now, if you remember from my solo records video last year, I mentioned that Der Eisendrache had a mysterious error that could crash the game at basically any time. Well, thankfully, in April 2025, this error was solved by OJumpy and LVs. And in classic zombie style, it's very weird. See, Black Ops 3 has a problem where it will crash if you keep pulling out and canceling grenade throws several thousand times. What players didn't realize before is that the game actually treats slamming with the Ragnaroks the same way as canceling a grenade throw, and this is why so many games were ending early. The coding reason this happens is because the thread for throwing a grenade is opened but never closed, and eventually it overflows. So the jaw-droppingly simple fix for this debilitating error is just that you have to complete a grenade throw every once in a while, about every 2,000 Ragnarok slams to be safe. This will completely clear all the unfinished threads and reset the error progress to 0. Shady and Tactical did this and ended up resetting on 2:16, a pretty impressive round considering Der Eisendrache has the lowest reset of any Treyarch map at only 62 hours. The world record on Zetsubou no Shima is by Keg and Notex. As for what it actually is, we'll get into that in a second. The pair started the game by getting their setup of packed guns in the Skull of Nan Sapwe and returned to the spawn room, where they had left the first door to the challenges closed. They proceeded to wait for a spider to web the only other door out of the spawn room, cutting off those extra spawns and slimming it down to just the 2 windows at the back. From here, Keg could take one window and Notex could take the other pretty easily. Zetsubou has always been a map with errors that are Black Ops 2 levels of mysterious, so the team tried some new error avoiding strategies in this game. For instance, they would not actually kill with the Skull Specialist, and instead just use its Mesmerize mechanic to paralyze the zombies and then kill them with Deadwire in turn. This is obviously slower than just taking turns killing with the Skull and having the other player use AATs, but Keg thought it would keep the game stable for longer. Keg used the KT-4 only against Thrashers, which would spawn at the very beginning of every 3 to 4 rounds. The strategy went swimmingly until Keg and Notex were coming back from a break on round 177. Notex was in the process of rejoining the game, but Keg ran between zones and accidentally despawned the last zombie before his partner had fully connected. It wouldn't let Keg pause the game, but it started round 178 with the solo number of zombies. Keg completed the round and he and Notex continued after without any problems up to round 194. Where they finally froze after 51 hours. However, remember when I said that if you start a round with the wrong number of zombies, the game is effectively over? Well, this rule still stands, but because it was unintentional, and the end result would not have changed due to Keg playing one solo round, the community voted in a poll that the record should be considered the round that they ended on, 194. But since no one else has even close to 178 either, Keg and Notex would have the record whichever way you look at it. Gorog Krovi's record was pushed up massively this year. First to 179 by Cairo and Dad Won't Hug Me, and it now sits at an impressive 226 by Keg and Italian player OJumpy. This is a very chaotic map on which a lot of weird stuff can happen, and it's also played rather unconventionally. The Wonder Weapon and Specialists are both not very good and prone to error, so besides just using AATs and the occasional trap, your best bet for killing is actually the Fire Blast from the shield. If you do the Easter egg in under 90 minutes, you can automatically get all the perks and keep them when you go down. Even when blue player leaves and rejoins, he'll get his perks back, and he'll keep his perk slots if he downs. They also used the Valkyrie helmet to reduce damage taken from Valkyries and Manglers. Camping in the bunker in the middle of the map actually lends itself really well to this strategy, because the shield table is right there, and if you leave the stairwell doors out of this room closed, no zombies can come from behind you, which is good because there will be enough to concentrate on in front of you. First of all, it was discovered a few years ago that killing too many Valkyrie drones causes the game to error, so you need to avoid killing these as much as possible. Then there's the Mangler stomping around and shooting at you to ruin your day. And on 183, Jumpy accidentally got the zombies in the window next to the workbench permanently stuck, although manglers could still come out of the window. It's not known why this happens, but for the rest of the game, he and Keg had to actually run to the window and shoot the confused zombies. On the bright side, this map also has a helpful bug called Turned Army. Turned zombies shocked by Valkyrie drones will last much longer than normal turned zombies, like several hours sometimes, so you can amass your own personal fan club to fight back against the hordes. Even though, when blue player leaves and joins back, he will no longer be able to see the Turned Army zombies created before he left. Keg and Jumpy stuck with this insanity for over 90 hours until they reached Gorod Krovi's first ever reset, but it was worth it for the coolest reset ever, flying into the air on the back of a dragon.
Absolute cinema!
Absolute cinema. Oh my god. What am I gonna say?
5, 4, 3, 2,
Oh,
start.
there you go. It's done. Oh my god.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I got kicked.
Trees! I got trees!
Oh.
Revelations is also a bit controversial because of the setup of the game. The highest round reached is the max round of 255 by Ganon Snipes and Faded Z, while the actual killing strategy is the same as solo, where you stand at Verrucht camping the 2 spawn with the Squid Gun, Thunder Gun, Ragnaroks, and AATs. With 2 players, you can use the weapon trading table in Noct to swap wonder weapons when one player gets an alchemical antithesis for more ammo. Later in the game, they would simply trade out the Squid Gun too, as it's pretty common out of the box. The player without wonder weapons simply shoots AATs at the windows to recharge their own Ragnaroks for use between the first players. Ganon and Faded made it to 255 using this method in a comfortable 65 hours, with about 5 hours to spare before they would have reset. However, controversy strikes yet again, this time with the setup patch they were using to get the game rolling. Patches for luck-based aspects of the very beginning of the game, such as getting the wonder weapon out of the box for the first time, are very common to use in Black Ops 3 world record attempts these days to not waste as much time with restarts from bad luck. On Rev, this includes the wonder weapons, specialist, and Arnie's out of the first box. But on Revelations, in co-op only, one player physically cannot get both the Squid Gun and the Thunder Gun out of the box at the same time. However, because they didn't know this was a thing, Ganon forced the game to do exactly that. Now, this didn't really change anything in the long run, as in a regular game you would simply have the other player get the Thunder Gun and use the trading table to give it to the first player. But some were put off by the fact that they circumvented this step in this game and essentially edited the game to do something it would never actually do, even with the best of luck. So, if you don't consider this the record, the next highest is round 246 by Keg and Notex, using the same strategy a few years earlier. They ended up running out of time in the game and hitting reset before they hit the max round, but that was in part due to the fact that they were playing on console, so they could not use a setup patch to get everything out of the first box. This meant that they had to move the box at the beginning of the game, and it put fire sales into their drop cycle, reducing their amount of max ammos. Ganon and Faded had also just optimized their ammo further beyond what Keg and Notex had done, in addition to shooting in the windows with Deadwire while the Ragnaroks were killing. Just those choices made 9 rounds of difference. Now we can move on to the Zombies Chronicles maps. Noct is the only Black Ops 3 map where the record is actually lower than on its older counterpart, at only 104 by German duo Just Tactical and Capo. This strategy is basically the same, running Thundergun hordes and trading. Plus, you can get perks on this version of Noct, unlike the previous. But the box can be a lot more brutal, and it can take a while to get the Thundergun back. That's part of the reason it took them over 30 hours just to get to 100. The pair would pretty much always stay in the mystery box room, with whoever had the Thundergun at the time hoarding up next to the box, while the other player hoarded up what few zombies spawned at the back of the room near the Kuda, and then gave them to the Thundergun player to blast away. Then they'd practically have time to take a full power nap while Noct's painstakingly slow zombies spawned back in, before they did it again. You'll notice that they're almost constantly shooting bullet weapons into the horde, and this was to build up points to cycle the gumball machine twice in one round, as by round 100 it costs over 1 million points for the second gum hit. But this way they could maximize their alchemical antithesis uses, and skip several trades every few rounds. But it's still pretty boring, and the game's end came when Tactical decided to solo op some rounds. This can be a pretty good strategy strategy for playing in shifts if one player needs to go to work or sleep and the other wants to progress the game, as long as the solo opping player isn't at risk of going down and immediately losing the game. Unfortunately, that's exactly what happened to Tactical, as he mistimed the zombie respawn rate on 104 and ended up getting one zombied in a corner while swapping weapons.
Dude, that's
Varrock's world record is much higher, as recently Italian player OJumpy pushed it all the way to 201 with Faded Z. On the Black Ops 3 version of Varrock, there's actually an exploit similar to sitting in the fire trap on Black Ops 1 Kino. At the 2 electric traps on either side of the map, the hitbox for the electricity reaches a little farther into the hallway than it needs to, making it so that if you hug this wall right next to the trap and press forward when the zombies push you back, you can actually just stand here and all the zombies will get toasted right in front of you. Jumpy and Faded would just run back and forth between the traps, hitting one trap when the other recharged, and waiting with a player at either doorway until it turned off again. The Speed Cola side trap is actually much harder to hold like this, and you can't even do it on solo, because there are 2 windows inside the trap. But Jumpy and Faded decided to chance having one person stand next to both zappers, and it actually worked. Well, most of the time. The hardest part of this strategy is definitely avoiding getting trapped by respawners right after the trap turns off and you're trying to escape the room, which is what one player held the Wunderwaffe for. But since there's no pack-a-punch and the Waff doesn't have much ammo without it, they would often need to trade it out mid-round, with one player holding the zombies and farming them for points, and the other hitting the box. When they got it back, they could continue with at least a minimal safety net. They kept this up for over 100 hours, which is insanely impressive considering how many nail-biters they got into, with Jumpy having to solo 4 different rounds when Faded lost connection, and even Faded having to solo one on 130 ping. They were well on their way to this being the longest co-op zombies game of all time, as Black Ops 3 Varrock's reset is about 150 hours.
I wonder if
But
BO4 has
Jumpy's
the
PC completely
longest.
froze while they were playing on round 201, and since he was the host, the game ended. Shino Numa's world record
Let's go
is
2P tag first room.
165
Dude, I'm
by
in a game. I
NCG
can't
the
right now.
Best and Taguni. On this version of Shino Numa, it's best to use the Flogger along with the electric traps, while you struggle to protect
I gotta
yourself
fi- I
and
gotta
your
finish
poor
this game up,
teammate
you know?
with the unpacked Wunderwaffe. NCG and Taguni would run back and forth from the Flogger, hitting it and then crawling back under.
Give me a
and
few
running to the
more
storage
months,
hut electric
like,
trap, where they'd stay inside
literally,
the hut
like
until
5,
the trap
6
turned
more.
off and they could repeat the cycle. On later rounds, they mixed in using the comm room electric trap as well. But this version of Shino Numa is
2-hour
even more
wonderful
brutal than the
video
previous
is
one,
amazing.
because of how
What
fast
a
the zombies slap
what a
on
good day it is
BO3,
today.
The fact that the trap effects disappear about an hour into the game, and the fact that you have to crawl instead of crouching under the Flogger while it's spinning, or it will insta-down you. Unless, that is, you have the danger closest gumball, which makes you completely invincible to it. Unfortunately, getting hit by zombies while under it can force you to stand up and get unceremoniously bonked on the head. NCG and Taguni had quite a few butt-clenching moments during this game, such as when NCG got forced up by an invisible zombie in the Flogger. Taguni
I'm telling you,
got
you
up
could
as he
definitely do it
subsequently
solo op.
revived him, and NCG could not revive him back without perks and ended up having to solo the round all
Like,
by
definitely.
himself. Not to mention the countless red screens they had entering and exiting the traps. The game finally ended when NCG got flogged by the Flogger again on 165, bled out, and not long after, Taguni met his fate, taking too much damage, sliding out of the comm room electric trap. Kino der Toten is another max round, 255 by OJumpy and Square. In fact, this is the only co-op game that has reached 255 without using any gobblegums, with the exception of the gobblegum crawl space, which you'll see Jumpy is holding, but is only used for in-game breaks, as on Black Ops 3, holding a zombie behind a window for food or exercise breaks will only work if that zombie is a crawler. Otherwise, they will down you, and this is the only way to make crawlers on high rounds. As for the strategy, on this version of Kino, you cannot stand in the fire trap, as that trap is also much more unforgiving than its original, but that's okay. Because this map has AATs, it wouldn't be faster anyway. In fact, Jumpy and Square were able to do an even faster strat than what you would do on solo Black Ops 3 Kino. This is Alley Strat. The solo world record Record did this strategy to start with, but most solo games have to stop at some point when they run out of Thundergun safety ammo because it's too dangerous. But with 2 players, you can dilute the spawns by having one person train at the back by the closed gate and one by the box location, and it's doable for the entire game. Jumpy and Square use Deadwire and Turned on the nearest wall weapons, and Jumpy the Thundergun to clear whatever ambitious zombies tried to take him down from the extra spawn he was covering. And it turned out to be the perfect speed because the pair came right up on reset by the end. They actually misestimated the reset time to be about 10 hours more than it was, so they took a lot of in-game breaks before they realized they were running out of time. They also realized they were playing slower than they could be about halfway through the game because they weren't using Turned as much as they could be, so they started frantically spamming it for the second half. And in fact, they got very lucky because on the end of round 253, they were only about 1 round's length away from the game restarting itself. But they were blessed with a dog round on 254, meaning they didn't have to risk resetting a few minutes from their goal.
No, no way.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Holy fuck.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
Oh my god. Oh my.
This also makes OJumpy the first person in history to get both the first max round solo and the first max round co-op on any map. Ascension's world record is 255 by Nas Fury and Menaisti. Ascension is generally considered the easiest map on Black Ops 3 as there's wide open spaces to train with AATs in, and no boss zombies or ammo management to worry about like Revelations, the other easiest map. However, as this record was literally just achieved the other day, this marks the last remaining map that could be 255'd in co-op that had not yet been achieved, meaning now all possible co-op 255s on Black Ops 3 are complete. These two used a combination of Deadwire, Turned, and Fireworks in the spawn room with the lower door closed. As with this setup, you'll only get spawns in that room. One would run cutbacks on the lunar lander pad, and the other would squeeze into the back corner so as not to get any pulls, and assist by spamming AATs.
Blood the Dead
horde.
Hardcore?
During the
Yeah,
early
the
games,
best
or whenever they
the
had
best map
Thundergun
on the
ammo
best
or
difficulty.
Outcomes, they would actually go up to the power room, which has the fastest spawns on the map, and spam the Thundergun up there at the window. It took them over 100 hours to reach the max
Dude,
round,
I'm so
but
far
they
away
were
from. I
dedicated
still have to
the
go through all of
cause and
Infinite
wouldn't have
Warfare and
settled
all
for
of Black
anything less.
World War II to get
Shangri-La's
before I
world
get to
record is
BO4.
quite low again, at 124 by Ganon Snipes and Faded Z. There's a number of reasons for this, but mostly just because people don't want to play it, as it's pretty tough and there's a number of hoops you have to jump through. First of all, the setup on Shangri-La is probably the most brutal of any map, as you need the baby gun out of the first box, you need certain random perks from the monkeys, namely not Widow's Wine, you need the Pack-a-Punch Stone not in the tunnel, and you need to get Deadwire and Turned before the Pack-a-Punch Stone might move to the tunnel. This is because the best strategy on the map is down in the Kuda room where you keep the tunnel door closed. This way white player can train the incoming spawns by the wall by, and blue player can simply stand by the rock window, kill spawners there, and in the meantime assist white with his horde. But this means that everything in the tunnel is inaccessible, including one of the Pack-a-Punch Stone locations. Now, it's allowed by ZWR to just use a patch to mitigate all the luck-based restarts in both solo and co-op, which Ganon and Faded did, but it gets a little more complicated than that. See, think about what would happen if Faded left the game. He'd lose his guns and AATs, and there was no guarantee he'd get them back when he rejoined if the Pack-a-Punch Stone moved to the tunnel. Because of this, much like Mob of the Dead,
I've never
Faded
been
just
to
stayed in
Instas
the
on
game the whole time,
that map.
and when they
I've
took a
barely been to
break, they pulled a
100.
zombie at a window. The downside of this is that Shangri-La has a pretty low reset by Black Ops 3 standards, only about 70 hours. But lucky for them, there's not much competition on this map currently, so they didn't have to play much to secure
I
the
think this
record.
is.
However, this problem did rear its head on round 121 when Faded downed from a stray zombie sneaking up behind him, and since his Deadwire gun was in his mule kick slot, he lost it. From this point forward, with no access to Pack-a-Punch from bad stone placement, he could no longer kill efficiently, as all his other AATs were much slower. A few rounds later, the pair decided to suicide instead of playing out the game like this. Moon sees Ganon and Faded return for a much higher round, 255 to be exact. This map is very close in speed to Revelations, especially on co-op, for two reasons. One, if you leave the door between this room and Stamina Up closed, this strategy becomes a 2 spawn, and actually you can whittle it down to a 1 spawn because on this game, spawn canceling the ceiling spawner is allowed. Wait a second, Wonder, you say.
What?
You're confusing me with all these rules. The Black Ops 1 players said spawn canceling is not allowed, and now this. What, do you think I'm never confused? I didn't make the rules, I'm just the messenger. But I can give you a bit of an explanation for this disparity. Different games communities have different rules based on how the games work, how those players like to play, how best to prevent cheating, and what's fun and competitive for the game. That's the short explanation that can be applied to a lot of the inconsistencies. On Black Ops 1 Moon, since you use the same area with the current strategy, this ceiling spawner is one of the most diabolically toxic in any game since you can really easily hit it wrong by accident, cancel it, and render your game unlegit. This has happened to many players, but mostly no Mole Man, over and over on world record attempts. However, the thought process behind Black Ops 3 Co-op Moon is this. Because it would just involve shooting AATs at these two spawns, and you can effectively look in two directions at once in co-op since you have two players, players figured that it doesn't matter if you cancel the spawn because the strategy in one window would also just be shooting two sets of AATs. This prevents players from having to restart deep into the game because of canceling the spawn, which is even easier to do on Black Ops 3 because the second player's job would just be to shoot directly into the spawn. Anyway, the second reason this is so fast is because you can hack any drop into a max ammo, meaning you can essentially use 4 Pack-a-Punch wave guns worth of ammo in one round. Only 4 though, as the No Man's Land drop reset trick that works on Black Ops 1 does not work on Black Ops 3. Ganon and Faded just spent the entire game rebuilding the window and shooting Deadwire, Fireworks, Thunderwall, and the wave gun, and they never had to train because the zombies got spawn camped the entire game, until Ganon and Faded made it to the max round. Almost makes you feel bad for the zombies. And finally we have Origins, the oldest co-op world record on Black Ops 3 by quite a while, set back in 2018 at 164 by DeSantis and Badass Monkey. The best explanation I can give for why this record hasn't been broken in 7 years is that this map is not very exciting for high rounds on Black Ops 3. At the beginning of the game, DeSantis and Monkey got set up with all the upgraded staffs, namely Ice, plus Deadwire and Turned. Then they headed down to the fire tunnel next to spawn to hunker down for a long camping strategy. They could easily use Alchems to keep their ammo up, and with only 3 spawns down here, their staff ammo went a long way. When Frozen rounds started on 112, where the zombies sometimes won't die in one hit from a staff, they instead started training either in the crazy place or at the bottom of the excavation site with AATs. Unfortunately, this is still one of the slowest world record strategies on any Black Ops 3 map, simply because the zombies have to run to you from so far away. But DeSantis and Monkey toughed it out, even with DeSantis playing on very rough ping and lagging often. This was also before the days of leaving and rejoining being popular, so they took breaks at a window. They made it 48 hours of gameplay until things went downhill on 164. DeSantis was trying to recover from a down and get to the training spot, but he got trapped by the zombies in the lightning tunnel. When Monkey teleported back to try to revive him, he found the zombies waiting with open arms. Now we can move on to the hidden gems of Infinite Warfare. For this game, despite the fact that there are 2 different consumable categories, those being Fate cards only and Fate and Fortune cards, I'm just going to include the highest between them as playing with Fortune cards doesn't change the game that much compared to Mega Gobblegums. Spaceland is the only co-op record where the Fortune record is higher than the Fate only record anyway, at 144 by The Awakened One and The Only Desire. Did I mention that this game has pretty much the coolest traps of any Call of Duty? While normally you'd use the croc trap in solo, it's complicated to run with 2 people. This team instead used the spinning rocket trap to relax and vaporize zombies, and intersperse its cooldown by throwing cryo-nades, which are ice grenades that can freeze entire hordes and make them one-shot. In this game, your grenade slot regenerates over time, meaning you can throw a cryo-nade every 35 seconds. The cool thing with Infinite Warfare is that there's a lot of little-known quirks you can use to improve your gameplay. For example, this game also has weapon variants, which are weapons that give special abilities like better player movement or a reward after a certain number of zombie kills. Awakened and Desire used a variant of this gun that gave them 2 free cryonades for every 50 zombie kills, saving them a lot of time waiting for them to refresh. The pair also employed another one of IW Zombie's fun gadgets, Kindle Pops, which can be obtained from the vending machine with the right coins from zombies. With these, you can light a small section of the ground ground on fire, so whenever they were able to get these, they'd camp back by the slides. One player would pour them, and the other would light them with their gun, and together they'd bottleneck the zombies to a fiery death. The game finally ended on 144 after almost 50 hours to a script error, which this game is not safe from either. Raven the Redwoods world record is the highest on this game, at 173 by the Awakened One and the Only Nightmare. This map has some of the most lucrative wonder weapons of any zombies map, those being the 4 bows, except one of them, the electric one, sucks, and you don't use it. But because they have so much ammo, and there are several ways to force max ammos, there are a number of unique strategies on this map, several with the bows and one without for when you've completely run dry. When the team had bow ammo, they'd stay in the main stage area where they could easily run loops around and kill hordes with one of the bows, hoarding differently depending on which bow they were using. In this example, blue player would train at the back of the area where he could lure some zombies away, but they would still get hit by the bow shots. Now, Infinite Warfare's drops don't work the same as the other games, as there's no guarantee of drops per round, no drop cycle, and it's extremely rare to get any drop, let alone a max ammo, in high rounds. But Rave has 2 advantages, rewinds and head game. A rewind is a consumable item that you can pick up every other round near the spawn room, and it will send you a few seconds back in time and refill all your ammo. And head game is a minigame beneath the spawn room where if you headshot a zombie with 6 throwing knives, you'll get a free max ammo. And the good thing is, both players can take advantage of these. You can only collectively get head once per round, but rewinds are in—
Huh? Huh? Elite script writing right
take
there.
advantage of these. You can only collectively get head once per round,
117.50.
but both players can take advantage of these. You can
117.49. All right, hold on. I gotta leave a comment now. 117.49. Excuse me. Excuse me.
You can only collectively get head once per round, but rewinds are individual. The strategy when all this ammo finally runs out, because there are so many zombies that it will run out, is to use the fish trap. This thing is similar to the Kino fire trap in that you can stand behind it and let it kill everything, and then hoard up on the adjacent beach while it recharges. During this phase, Nightmare and Awakened would just run together, Awakened with some panic bow ammo, until they were able to kick back behind the fish trap again. This game would also end to the same error as Spaceland, this time after almost 60 hours on 173. Now onto the crappier Infinite Warfare maps. Shaolin Shuffle's co-op record is 113 by Awakened. He's on a generational Infinite Warfare run, and
Until I
Pleasantly
come in and
GG.
take all the records,
This map
which will
often
definitely
falls to the
guarantee to
wayside
happen.
because it's pretty annoyingly difficult
Never.
and is also plagued with errors very early into the game. For the low rounds, Awakened and Plez camped on this rooftop and used the Laser Samurai Sword, an admittedly very cool weapon, to evaporate all the zombies that tried to climb up. At round 70, to avoid killing the game early with errors, they moved to using the samurai swords in the theater next to the Pack-a-Punch portal, a good camping spot with a straightaway. One player would use up all the fire ammo of their single pack sword, walk back and repack it when it ran out, use up all the laser projectile ammo of the double pack sword, and then they could just run across the map, trade it out for a wall weapon, and pick it back up. During this time, the other player would stay at the camping spot and continue to kill the zombies with their ammo, and then when the trading player got back, they'd switch off again. This is a pretty reliable strategy as this map heavily encourages camping due to the fact that it has ninja zombies that will teleport in front of you if you start sprinting, making any training strategies very hard. This was shown when the pair decided they were ready to quit and went out with a bang while trying to train, which went downhill fast. Attack of the Radioactive Things world record is similar at 122 by Rasmo and JScryne $199.
Dude.
This is also a camping strategy, and it involves exploiting the way that buildables work on Infinite Warfare. Unlike every other game, where buildables break after they kill a certain number of zombies, a buildable's active time is measured by its time spent on the map here. Once they break, you will not be able to pick up another one for 2 rounds. However, that timer does not start until a second or two after you place it. Because the satellite trap starts killing as soon as you place it, if you pick it back up almost instantly, it will never break and you can just keep using it infinitely. The only hiccup is that it doesn't kill
I
the
want a
frog mini-boss
burger.
enemies, and you can't put the buildable away while
No,
holding it
not
without
really.
setting it down and running its timer. But on co-op, you can just have the other player shoot them whenever they pop up. The other thing you need for this strategy to work well
One second, I'll be
is
right
a
back,
good
hold up.
camping spot, and luckily you can turn the
I don't feel like Screen probably did that much in this game. Can't lie. I know Rasmo is a very big fan of this map, so.
first room into one. On Infinite Warfare, you can actually block spawns by throwing an undetonated C4 on top of the spawn. Rasmo and Skrine just blocked all the ones in the first room with this method, and left the other door out of the room closed, and they had massive space behind them to back up if needed. The game went very smoothly, but would unfortunately end early on round 122 because Rasmo, the host of the game, had his PS4 automatically update while they were in the middle of playing. And finally, there's Beast from Beyond, with a record of 146 by ZSFR, Maxinor, and Rasmo. This map is usually considered the hardest on this game because it combines all the special zombie types from the previous Infinite Warfare maps, and even some from previous games. Our cast includes the Spaceland Clowns, the Rave Slasher, the Shaolin Ninjas, and the Cryptids from Extinction on COD Ghosts. And not only are all these special zombies sprinkled throughout your actual horde of zombies, there's no limit to how many enemy slots they can take up. This creates an even bigger problem when you have a lot of them, because it makes trapping and trading on Beast almost impossible. Luckily, the Venom X from COD Ghosts makes an appearance as well, and it's got a bit of a trick you can use to play around the special zombies. You can do the Easter egg to unlock a wall buy for it, which you can pick up once in solo, as after you do, the prompt to grab it disappears. But in co-op, if you take out the other wonder weapon, the Entangler, and put it away again, the prompt reappears and never goes away, so you can pick the Venom X up as many times as you want. To actually use it, Max and Rasmo would just run opposite ends of this wide open street area with speed variants of LMGs for increased movement. Then they'd combine their hordes and shoot the Venom. They also mixed in the other wonder weapon Rasmo was holding, the Entangler, which can shoot zombie souls at other zombies. Then, when it was empty, Max would run back to its wall buy and grab a new one, and upgrade it to its maxed out version. This game was certainly not without its chaos and challenges though, and eventually ended on 146 while Max was getting a new Venom X. Rasmo downed back at the training spot, and Max backtracked to revive him, and got caught on a stairwell and died. World War II is where things start to get a bit weird. This is the first game that changes the number of zombies per round in co-op from the previous games, so the round progression is a little different. Essentially, once you reach round 100, that round will just repeat over and over, but the number will keep going up. Also, World War II marks the end of leaving and rejoining. On this, and every game after this, you cannot leave and rejoin a co-op game in progress, or you don't need to due to server pause. And since World War II doesn't have a server pause feature like the later games do, nor does it have boardable windows, you have to take sleepers in glitch spots or by body blocking zombies. Combine that with the relatively short resets, at least of the base maps, and these records are much lower than their solo counterparts. The Final Reichs record is 152 by Randizi and Steve Don't Stop. On this map, you can use a combination of the Wonder Weapon and traps to get through the rounds. The Wonder Weapon is the Hurricane, which shoots a slow-moving orb that kills zombies near it, and is most useful along with the Midnight variant and the Red Talon melee weapon. The most helpful traps are the Fire Trap and the Saw Blade Trap underground. The pair would camp in the spawn area when they had Hurricane ammo, as it's a long straightaway where you can hit all the zombies with one shot. When they ran out, they'd run between the two traps and spam explosive weapons to charge up the Free Fire Specialist, which charges based on points earned but takes more every use. The nice thing is that it gives you infinite ammo for 20 seconds, and Randizi and Steve would take advantage of this by going back to the camping spot and spamming the Wonder Weapon as fast as possible. The game ended on 152 to a reset after only 34.5 hours, making this the shortest co-op reset of all time. Groston House's world record is 80 by Randizi and Tigerbait. This is the Nocturne Toten of World War II, a very tiny map with no traps or wonder weapons to work with, so you basically have to run around and around the length of the map, shooting the zombies with a lucky crit, which makes it so zombies have a chance to die instantly when you hit a crit spot. Luckily, you can do an Easter egg that makes all the weapons out of the mystery box come pack-a-punched, some with special abilities like the Subsonic Scream, which creates sentries that snipe zombies. It wasn't a particularly long game, but World War II's lack of pausing methods in co-op became the most evident in this game, where Randizi had to go to work and they couldn't get into the glitch spot with the last zombie of round 79. So, as a last resort, Tigerbait physically ran the last zombie around the map for 7 hours straight. This might very well be the greatest act of self-sacrifice I've ever seen in the zombies community. When Randizi came back, they picked up the game again and promptly died 20 minutes later, making the entire ordeal totally not worth it. The Darkest Shores world record is 135 by Randizi and Tigerbait
Monitor.
again. They mirrored the solo strategy in this game of camping next to Pack-a-Punch, spamming the upgraded Ripsaw down the straightaway in front of them. Plus, once it was upgraded, they could simply buy ammo for it right from the Pack-a-Punch machine.
Okay,
the game actually ended to a disconnect on round 135 when the
Can
World
we
War
not?
II servers stuttered and went out. The world record on the Shadowed Throne is 157 by RDE and ZZ Paradox. This map starts the iconic World War II pattern of melee maps. Maps with infinitely killing hand-to-hand combat, usually with a variant of this weapon, the Blade of Barbarossa. All players can pick it up, too, which means in co-op you have even more killing power than you would in solo. The strategy with this sword takes place inside the Pack-a-Punch room next to the door leading to spawn. One player swings constantly to maintain the zombies, and the other maintains the boss zombies called Whistlings. They're a little harder to kill, so this player's job is to spin them around to distract them and stay ahead of their swings. This game eventually ended to a reset while the team was taking a sleeper on 157. Bodega Cervantes is the highest co-op round on all of World War II, at an even 300 by, surprise surprise, Randizi and Tigerbait. This is by far the longest co-op record on this game. In fact, by lobby time, it's the longest game in general on World War II at 114 hours, although the pair only played 69 of those hours and slept or worked 45 hours. Since it was just discovered in 2024 that you can get the sword on this and the next map, Randizi put it to the test camping in this corner, where its range hit most of the zombies in front of the house. You're going to see a lot of sword swinging on these maps as the sword pretty much solos any other weapon in terms of speed and ease. Tiger ran cleanup in front of Randizi with the Ripsaw and the explosive bullets of the Ryby rolls. While they could have used the sword's stun effect on all the boss zombies to slow them down, using the stun effect greatly lowers the reset of the map. So instead, Tiger used the Ripsaw and even the packed Tesla gun to stun. The game would finally end to a reset while they were taking a break at the end of 300. USS Mount Olympus's world record is 115 by Trip Over This 420 and Try Solo, aka Adolf Haydn in the Zaza. Trip and Mr. Zaza were able to stand facing opposite directions on top of this staircase and swing away, killing everything in front of them and using the insta-kill specialist whenever it was charged. Trip actually solo-opped a 7-hour chunk of this game from 80 to 105, which required a little more running around and hoarding up to watch both sides, but was doable. And to return the favor, Try Solo did try soloing from 108 to 115, before he ended up suiciding. Altar of Blood is, once again, another swingers map, with a record of 131 by Lovesate Souffle and his girlfriend Thule. This is our second example of a zombie player's dream date, teaching his girlfriend to get a world record.
That's
Although this map is
crazy.
a bit of an easier learning curve than 5. They camped by Double Tap in the same place as the solo world record, and as you can see, they actually played split screen, although even on this mode you still can't pause. So they took no breaks and powered through, remaining double flawless until the very end, although Souffle noted that Thule did not enjoy the duration of the 18.5-hour game. Lucky for her, it was cut off by an error when they tried to take a break. And finally, we have Frozen Dawn at 224 by Randizi and YOLO Knifer 24. In this map, you have an equally powerful melee weapon, this thing that's basically Thor's hammer, and like the previous maps, all it takes is a good corner and a solid trigger finger to clear the hordes. Randizi took the hammer and YOLO took the scythe melee weapon as backup, and while they were both playing, they would team up to take the hordes in the skull room. But YOLO was actually sleeping for about half this game, and while he was gone, Randizi just did his solo op shifts in a spot where he could hold the hordes on his
How
own
is it
with
going?
just
It's
the hammer,
going
across
well.
from
I'm
the
almost-
gyroscope. But they still
I'm
made
like
it to what at the time
about
was
12-ish
the
hours
highest
off
co-op round
of
on World
255.
War II in 37 hours
So,
before
yay!
Randy, who had been awake
I'll do
for
like
the entire
3 or
game,
4 rounds
finally
tonight, depending how I
mistimed his
feel.
swings and died on 224. Black Ops 4 changes the formula
Finally!
back, but still managed.
Oh my gosh, finally. Black Ops 4. Dude, I've been waiting an hour and 30 minutes for this part of the video. Alright, I can't wait to see it just be like the same 3 people every single time. It's gonna be like, hey guys, Chief is playing. Guys, look at this. Chief is playing again. Oh my gosh, is Chief again? How different do you think co-op Spearguns would be? You got the same amount of zombies in co-op as you did solo. So like, okay, like the amount of zombies you get in like a 2-player game was always the same the amount of you get in solo. I think people would be much more, I think, open to the idea of playing co-ops, even if they couldn't stay connected that long. Like if the zombie account didn't actually change, I think we would see a lot more people running. Well, I think also we'd see a lot more people running solo ops as well. The only thing that really would ever change is that, hey, I just can't down, you know? Yeah, if it didn't change for like 3-4 player, it would be crazy to see some of the things like that. Also, you know, you'd have to get the RNG of some people. You know, the speedrun would basically who got the best RNG, I feel like, because, you know, who got helium from every single box. Oh, 3P and 4P as you do in solo. I still think people would play solo, but there would be a lot of complaining. I wouldn't want to play a solo game of zombies where, you know, I don't know. It wouldn't be, I think, as fun, really. But also, I think the solo records would be a lot more impressive as well, though. That's what I would assume.
Just to mix things up yet again. In this game, the round progression is back to normal, and the round cap is removed, although it doesn't display correctly past 255. Instead, it goes blank for a round and then counts up from round 1 again. This is the first Zombies game to introduce server pause, where the host can pause the game and it will stop for all players. Furthermore, this game has the most categories out of any Call of Duty Zombies title, because not only do we have classic and mega consumables again, this time time elixirs instead of gobblegums, but they basically do the same things. But there are also 4 different difficulty modes. However, we'll only be talking about records played on normal, because they're all the highest anyway, as there's no scaling health or increased zombie count to worry about, like on hardcore or realistic. And we'll only be talking about classic elixirs, for the same reason I only mentioned classic gobblegum games for Black Ops 3.
It changes too
With
much.
Megas, all the strategies are basically camping with the most powerful weapons and spamming ammo refills.
Yep.
Some still are, but most have a little more nuance to them. And the final thing I should mention is I'm only counting games that have 2 different people playing, even if one
Cough,
is solo
cough,
opting
Dirks,
or
cough,
they're
cough.
taking shifts. I'm not counting games played on split screen where one person just adds a controller and sets it aside,
Yeah.
which for some bizarre reason are allowed on ZWR, but I mean, come on. So let's get into it. Nine's world record is 151 by Chief Lunger
and Endless Madness, yeah.
This record does involve a lot of camping, but it's pretty intense stuff. Most of the game took place in the flooded crypt area under the arena, where these two set up with the most powerful explosive weapons, the noob tube firing trench gun and the Hellion Salvo rocket launcher, which they could spam in front of them to wipe the hordes. Since on normal difficulty the zombies' health caps at round 35, you don't really need wonder weapons, and you can use normal strong guns like these to kill for the entire game. With the PhD slider perk, neither of these weapons hurts you either, so you can really go crazy spamming them directly at your feet and not worrying about turning yourself into a crawler. They also use the Viper and Dragon Specialist, which is a sword and shotgun combo with a zombie distracting ability that can actually last after you put it away and help to recharge itself, so it's pretty much the best specialist on the Chaos maps. It's also very good at combating boss zombies like the Blightfather. Every few minutes, Lunger and Madness would have to do ammo runs out to the trench gun wall buy at the top of the Raw Tower, but they were killing so fast downstairs that it balanced out the time. At round 151, they decided to suicide and end their game.
Really?
Voyage of Despair's record is 160 by Italians Corrante and Simoso Figo.
No way, it's
the
not
camping
cheap.
spot on this map is at the very bottom of the grand staircase, where the zombies only come from the stairs and one barrier in front of you. And the camping weapon of choice is the wonder weapon of this map, the Kraken, which sports 3 rotating elemental cannons. The nice thing is, both players can get it. The weapon gets different elemental shots depending on which elemental catalyst zombie material you pick up and infuse it with: electric, ice, fire, and poison. However, electric and ice are really the only effective ones on high rounds, so you always want to go for those. Whenever their Krakens ran out of ammo, the pair would run down to the ship's hull to re-infuse it with the elemental drop they'd picked up earlier. Then they'd stay down near there camping until they got another elemental drop, pick it up and save it for later, then head back up to the grand staircase, accentuating their killing power with Viper and Dragon and the Hellion Salvo. Because they had 2 Krakens, they rarely had to resort to the slower killing strategy with the ice ammo. On a given round, only 3 of the 4 catalyst zombie types will spawn, so on some rounds you will get no electric zombies. But even when they got a round that didn't spawn those, they often still had enough electric ammo to carry them through. These two also quit their game after 30 hours on 160.
Oh, come
Blood
on.
of the Dead also sits at 160 by Venoms and CJ. Venoms actually
Really?
solo opt most of this game, as since this is a trap strategy, there's not much the second player can do. Venoms used the solo strategy with the chain trap in New Industries outside spawn, charging up his shield blast from zombies running by it while it killed. Then he'd do a small horde up on the side of the room, shield blast the zombies, maybe shoot a magmagat shot, and since this trap recharges incredibly fast, it'd already be ready by the time he was done. The most helpful specialist on the Ether maps is Overkill, a grenade launcher with a nuke ability.
Yeah, pretty much.
So he threw that in there too. But unfortunately, this game ended to a freeze while paused on the very beginning of 160. Classified's world record
Really?
is 127 by T Senior and IWC Grunt. This map actually involves another exploitative trap strategy. The electric trap on this map is worlds easier to use than it is on 5, and that's because you can leave the door between the spawn room and the elevator hallway closed, but you can still abuse the zones. While standing here, the game actually thinks you're in the spawn room, and it will only spawn zombies on the other side of the trap. So after killing the stragglers with Wraithfire grenades, you can funnel all the zombies through the trap without having to do anything. When it turned off, T Senior and Grunt held out for as long as they could, standing in the same spot with the trench gun, Wraithfires, and even the shield machine gun. Then they'd run to the elevator, take it down, down and immediately take it back up to stall for time. By the time they reached the trap again, it was ready, and they could do the same thing again. When they had Hellion ammo and overkill charge, they'd take their explosives down to the war room elevator and camp inside with one person watching each direction, until they needed to use the trap again. I'm actually not sure how this game ended because the video just cuts off, but my best guess is that it was a disconnect. The funny thing is that the 3-player record is also tied with this at 127, so I figured I should mention that too. It's also by T Senior, this time with Mary Lump and Agent 0471. This trio only used the War Room elevator camping strategy because their ammo could go a lot farther and because you can't fit 3 people in the zone exploit with the trap upstairs. This game also ended to a disconnect. Dead of the Night is pretty much the ultimate camping map, as it has a feature called Silver Bullets, where you can infinitely buy ammo from a workbench for any gun. Because of this, it is the highest classic round with the normal scaling amount of zombies on any zombies map ever. 273 by Spider-Man? By Bomber and Kappa Mike. For this strategy, it's very easy to just camp in the master bedroom and use the Hellion, the wonder weapon Alistair's Folly, and the Viper and Dragon. For ammo runs, they could just push out of the room, run downstairs, refill, and hit the fire trap on the way back up to kill the stragglers. Sadly, as soon as they came back from a break and Bomber put the mask on to save the city, Kappa Mike disconnected. This spelled the end of the game, and Bomber quit out. Ancient Evil's world record is 249 by Chief Lunger and Endless Madness, our 9 world record holders. There's actually a lot that goes into this map. The simpler side involves staying outside the Temple of Apollo and spamming powerful weapons like the Hand of Chiron, the Pegasus Strike, the Viper and Dragon, and of course the Hellion. It's just a little hard to see what they're doing because this map has a problem with effects disappearing after a while. The complicated part is getting all of this ammo back, since there's no special rounds or silver bullets. Lunger and Madness did this by completing tribute challenges like kill zombies with melee weapons or don't get hit, leveling up their reward until it was at the rarity level that could give them a max ammo. This meant that they actually had to plan around what their challenge was to be able to continue playing fast and efficiently. Unfortunately, this game also ended to a disconnect, prompting Madness to quit out on 249. Alpha Omega's highest round with 2 players is 135 by ZSG Jason and Stam935 according to ZWR. However, all this game's footage was deleted in the Twitch purge at the beginning of this summer, so I can't really talk about this game or claim it as the record. The next highest round is actually the 4-player record of 120 by Chief Lunger, DJ Rogba, Kill Will V2, and Endless Madness. One of the reasons this record is higher than a lot of other co-ops is that they were able to exploit the layout of the map on the Yellow House's back porch, where zombies can only jump up
But
from
guys,
one
Electric
direction.
Burst is too
With
overpowered.
4 players, you can use enough Galvanical punches to beat up all the zombies while they're climbing up and can't hit you. The game only ended when the team decided to quit out by suiciding in the bunker. And Tog der Toten is a fitting end to Black Ops 4 as the ultimate camping map, as if you go to the very top of the boat area, zombies will only spawn from one window. With 2 players, you can annihilate this window even more easily than on solo, and the 2 up for this task were, once again, Chief Lunger and Endless Madness, reaching round 243 in only 46 hours. And as it turns out, this map is the only co-op record that isn't on classic difficulty, as the game was played on hardcore difficulty, which gives you less health and scales the zombies' health, making insta-kill rounds start on 163 like on Black Ops 1. But TOG makes your job pretty easy. They used a combination of the Ragnaroks and Tundra Gun to straight up bully the zombies back to where they came from, with the Trench Gun and Hellion for instas. The only thing that could take them down was, of course, a disconnect, the bane of this game. Cold War, we're back to things being weird again. In this game, the zombies' health will cap at round 55, and on round 51, the round length will start increasing extremely slowly, like a few seconds every round, so you'll get 100 or so rounds that are basically the same length. This makes the round progression more similar to something like World War II, but the difference is that the resets are unimaginably high, higher than anything you would ever get to, although you do have server pause in co-op. Cold War's problem is that the game is very unstable, so crashes in high rounds are common, and the king of crashes on this game is the base map, D Machine. The world record on this map is 547 by Drain BB and Grave.
Yep.
The theory on this
Dude,
map
they're gonna have
is that
every
you
single
crash
record.
if you play too fast. So Drain and Grave mitigated their extremely fast strategy by trying to play slower than normal. The meta is to camp up here on top of the knocked area with the door behind you closed, as the zombies will only spawn near you and you can spam the ray gun like crazy with the Ring of Fire field upgrade, which is essentially a specialist that powers up your weapon for a limited time and kills zombies near you. This game also has ammo boxes that allow you to buy ammo for any gun, so as long as you can make it to the box, you essentially have infinite ammo. At first, Drain and Grave played the slow version of the strategy, which involves shooting the floor inside the playable area as opposed to directly shooting the spawns the zombies are coming up out of. But in the 300s, they switched to doing exactly that to speed up the game. And even though they were way ahead of any competition, they weren't able to reach Cold War's max round of 935. When Drain bought ammo and Grave hit the box at the
Dude.
same time on 547,
Dude, I still don't know why he. I don't know why he hit the box.
they crashed.
Actually,
Crashed. What? No way.
She died.
No way.
Why? What? Why?
The highest
Oh.
co-op round on Firebase Z is 260 by Charlie Hope and Hawkward. These two actually played this game as a no-support challenge, in which they didn't use any score streaks, self-revives, or anything obtained from a workbench, as these make the game a lot easier. They mirrored the classic solo strategy of camping in the weapon lab with the Ray K Wonder Weapon and Ring of Fire. This weapon has two fire modes, a laser machine gun, and a sort of area of effect shot that can be combined to wipe the hordes in front of you. But it's pretty easy to just stand back and spray at the incoming doorway and side spawns, and then run out and buy ammo when needed. But the game ended pretty early on 260 due to a disconnect. On the other hand, Maurer Toten's world record is Cold War's max round of 935 by Drain and Grave again, making this by far the highest numerical co-op round of all time. These two camped and spammed the China Lake grenade launchers in the Death Strip area until the early 200s, which is incredibly fast, but, as you would expect from Cold War, will error you very quickly. From here they moved to the Hotel Room 305 camping strategy for the rest of the game. This area only has two spawns in the adjacent windows where zombies climb up toward you, but the nice thing is that you can hit them through the wall with the Frost Blast field upgrade. So Drain and Grave would exchange shooting explosives at the window frames and popping Frost Blast when it was charged. They were also very attentive to avoiding crashing the game, and many times had to play around it. For example, only Grave would shoot during insta-kills to keep from killing too fast, and when he left and rejoined, Drain would have to respawn him by standing next to the zipline up to the Wonder Fizz, as if you actually use the vertical ziplines on high rounds, the game will most likely crash. But luckily their game held together the whole time, and the pair reached the max round at 112.5 hours, and happily quit the game. Forsaken's world record is 308 by Beta Pack-a-Punch and Beta Pack-a-Lunch. I literally cannot make these names up, guys. This strategy also involves sitting in a prison cell-sized room and spamming absolutely apocalyptically at the choke point. This time in the pizzeria with ray guns and the China Lake. And we're back to Ring of Fire. Punch took the doorway and Lunch took the ceiling spawn at the back of the room. Forsaken has random boss zombies that spawn depending on the round, but most of them didn't even make it into the Chaos Room through the absolute hell being thrown at them. Punch and Lunch could just rebuy ammo and supplies across the street between rounds, and they could have gone much farther, but this game ended when Lunch disconnected on 308. From here, Punch was forced to quit the run. And it's worth mentioning Outbreak, the zombies objective mode, which has a world record of 347 by Cali123 Weed and Try It Out. This mode is pretty different from normal zombies, as rounds are objective based, with various elimination or escort missions. They vary in time depending on the objective, but never get progressively longer, so it's more of a test of endurance than anything, of both you and the game itself. These two played this game as a no juggernog challenge too, making the toughness even steeper for themselves, but they were only brought down by Try It Out disconnecting and being unable to rejoin about 30 hours in. And who can forget Vanguard zombies, no matter how hard we might try. Vanguard is a bit of a fringe game since the first two maps are objective based like Outbreak, and the last two are like when your mom says we have Cold War at home. But I think it deserves a mention nonetheless. Taking a break on this game is even harder because not only can you not leave and rejoin or server pause, but you can't even really take an extended break because because there's an AFK kick timer of about 10 minutes. But you wouldn't really want to, because the game kicks you out of your lobby after exactly 24 hours. So to maximize your time, you literally have to play the game straight. The highest co-op round on Duran Fang, the release map, is 170 by Mad Dog 187 and Effin Lizard King. On the first two maps, you have the option to play objectives or go to an area that is exclusively round-based. With objectives, every round you teleport to a specific area and complete different tasks that are about the same length of time, like escorting an orb or collecting runes. So pretty much a copy and paste of Outbreak. With the
hold on.
rounds. Mad Dog and Lizard only played the very early rounds in Void because at a certain point, playing the limited
Internet
objective rounds
disconnected.
was much faster. To get through these, of course, you and your teammate will want your trusty NoobTube.
Hold on. Did my stream get split into two? Let's go find out. Hold on. Seems to be all there. All right, let me finish this round off, I guess, real quick.
Launchers by your sides to blast away anything that moves, and then rebuy ammo from ammo boxes. Because they did objectives most of the game only took about 9 hours before the pair quit out. Terra Maledicta is very similar at round 165 by Mad Dog and Miss Island Lady. This map just has different areas with the same basic objectives, and you're still massively overpowered with the grenade launcher. Mad Dog used the same approach as Duran Fang, but unfortunately disconnects are back, as this one ends to a drop connection. Shino Numa Reborn's record jumps up a bit to 263 by Surfalist and Effin Lizard King. This map is round-based and has similar health and zombie scaling to Cold War. This duo just stood on top of the stack of boxes next to the flogger and spammed their ray guns at both sides for the entire game. They used stock option to never have to reload and lapse their killing either. Whenever one of them needed ammo, they'd dash past the flogger to the nearest ammo box, and the other player would shoot on top of the box to kill all the zombies that jumped up. They played this way straight through to the 24-hour time limit before the game forced them to touch grass.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Like 30 seconds into that round.
And the final map on this game, the Archon, is just Terra Maledicta copied and pasted without objectives. But since you have crazy killing power and fast spawns, the record is 392 by JScry99 and Effin Lizard King. On this map, the grenade launcher returns to the spotlight, and you can fire directly into these temple windows, powering yourself up even more with this game's version of Ring of Fire, and just rebuying ammo when you need it. And with self-revive, it's easy to keep yourself alive even without your teammate, unless you get down by a random crawler after 20 hours and forget to buy a self-revive like Lizard did. A fitting end to the records of Vanguard. And finally, we arrive at the most recent title, Black Ops 6. You would think Treyarch would have perfected co-op by this game, right? Apparently not, because Black Ops 6 is easily the absolute worst game to play co-op zombies on. Somehow, it's more toxic than Vanguard or pre-Plutonium Black Ops 1, which is kind of funny because there's a lot of features that should improve the experience, but none of them work in your favor. There is a pause feature, but you can only use it for 15 minutes before the game will just unpause itself. You can't save and quit co-op games at all, so no chance for both players to take a breather. Off-host players can rejoin if they disconnect, but if the game gets a playlist update, which happens very often during the season cycle, you will no longer be able to rejoin, so it's very iffy whether this will work. And there's an insanely aggressive AFK kick timer of only about 3 minutes, which tracks unique movement so you can't just put something on your controller to keep yourself spinning around and avoiding the detection. The only instance in which this AFK timer doesn't snipe you is when you've bled out, but if you keep downing and bleeding out every round, you'll error. And there's no 24-hour lobby limit like Vanguard, so these games can run insanely long. Well, as long as you can survive in real life. So let's see what players have come up with under these dire circumstances. For these records, since there are 4 different boards between playing with or without Gobblegums and with or without support score streaks, I'm not going to split hairs and I'll just include the highest one out of all categories. The record on Terminus is 360 by GraveXD and Gardening Tools, with gums and support. At its most basic level, the idea on most Black Ops 6 maps is that you want to use support drops, which are score streaks like Chopper Gunners or RCXDs, and farm the salvage currency back to keep buying more of them. By far the most helpful is the Mangler injection, which turns you into a Mangler for almost a minute and lets you remain completely invincible and swipe or
Okay, I'm gonna take a small break. I'll be back.
Alright. I really don't want to play. I'll finish the round out though, so or this round. I've been wanting to find some more music on YouTube. Hmm. Oh, I barely even ever noticed. That's what he's saying. I barely even ever notice it. Any note? No. I barely even have noticed it anymore. Still definitely gonna be the montage song. Like if this, is 100% gonna be the montage song. If I do end up getting a good game or a record here. I could put up propaganda posters or like images during it. It's so funny. Hold on. This one.
Pretty sick of drinking lemonade. Shitty lemons have a funny taste. A bitter hint of choices I don't make. My full cup is fucking up my day. Man, who are you to tell me how to act? You don't know me and it don't work like that. If I need help, it isn't you I'd ask. I'd just be asking for my money back, yeah. And I don't know what might make this better. I'm not the only one who could do with a break. Can't do much else than just watch as it shatters. Yeah, I think we know there's a change on the way soon. Pretty sick of drinking lemonade. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Pretty sick of drinking lemonade. Drip fed what other people say. Just little doses of how to behave. Self-medicate the day away. I'm sitting around watching my brain decay. There's gotta be a better way. You don't know what you don't know, but you feel like you're alone though, right? And I don't know what might make this better. I'm not the only one who could do with a break. Can't do much else than just watch as it shatters. Yeah, I think we know there's a change on the way. Oh, we're all so fucking sick of our lemons. Yeah, they got so sour, please take them away. No, it ain't too much to be wishing for better. 'Cause I'd sooner try right up than make lemonade from this. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you don't know what you don't know. You feel like you're alone though, right? Instead of losing hope though, maybe we could learn to fight. I just don't know what might make this better. I'm not the only one who could do with a break. Can't do much else than just watch as it shatters. 'Cause I think we know there's a change on the way. And we're all so fucking sick of our lemons. Yeah, they got so sour, please take them away. No, it ain't too much to be wishing for better. 'Cause I'd sooner try right up than make lemonade. You don't know what you don't know. You feel like you're alone though, right? Instead of losing hope though, maybe we could learn to fight. You don't know what you don't know. You feel like you're alone though, right? Instead of losing hope though, maybe we could learn to fight something.
It's so weird not hearing it fade out after the first one. Oh my gosh, it's so weird. So weird not hearing it fade out after the first time. Wait, what is this one?
Why won't my brain shut up? Oh, I'm feeling reflective.
I don't
when
recognize
it all
this
gets
song,
too
actually.
much. Yeah, I think of the best bits. I wanna be hugged tighter than expected. Yeah, I've said love and I've really meant it. So many friends I used to know, making their messes into homes and living lives I'll never know and I'll never hear of. Do they miss me? Probably not. They probably don't give me a thought, but reminiscence all I've got. Wish you were here, love. What's going on today? If I found out what would change, I watched us fade away. I miss you more every day.
Oh, okay.
So many friends I used to know, making their messes, but reminiscences of and I really meant it. So many friends I used to know, making their messes into homes and living lives I'll never know and I'll never hear of. They miss me, probably not. They probably don't give me a thought, but reminiscences all I've got. Wish you were here, love. What's going on today? If I found out what would change, I'll watch this fade away. Miss you more every day.
That's where he gets the whoop from. Okay. Not this again. I just listened to this, man. Oh, it's in the playlist twice, that's why. Hold steady. No, I know this one.
Hold it steady, get it ready, let it go. Something simple, we don't know, and I guess it shows.
This was still from Vivo.
Crack the skies and off if they said so. Something simple.
I was never a fan.
Hold it steady, get it ready, let it go.
That reminds me of Miami Hotline. Life versus living. Also, why did I just get 2 ads? Hi, Hazmat. Thank you.
Sunlight dripping, trying to keep my mantle from slipping. Comes down to life versus living. Unsure
Almost at 70. Yeah. No, actually, what I want to do, I want to go look at all of the other songs that were in that happy birthday, congratulations on being a year older. Woohoo! Party! Hold on. Wait, I have the thing for this. Wait, hold on. Yay! Birthday! Woohoo! Oh, that's great. I love that. Yeah! Woo! Turn 19? Nice. 2 more years until you can drink alcohol. Legally. Unless you're not in the US, then. FNAF 2. I know, right? There's more, but. I just chose the first one. HD. It's all the same. It's all the same. That one's got their OC in it. I scrolled down far enough. Let's go. Nice. I'm going through all the songs I have in my YouTube auto-created playlist to see if there's any... Oh, that's what I was going to do. That's right. Alright. I need to go here. Fox Stevenson... what's it called? It's like the mosh pit. Dude, yeah, I know. I saw you like it as well. Yeah. The context of that one clip from Graves makes so much more sense now. That's the thing. So what's this song? Because this goes like, holy moly! It's like really weird. Holy moly! Heard that one. I've heard Miss You. Yeah, he showed me the clip, yeah. I've seen this one. Oh, that's the song? Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, I've been looking for specifically this song. I want to see what this sounds like. I actually haven't listened to it before. Sub Focus, On and On, by... It's this one. Yeah. This is it. Bow, bow, bow. Fills my brain. Bum, 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 bum. Then I had to pull up with him 12-hour shift before we aired. Dude, yeah. that clip is so funny now. I didn't know that's how you got a max ammo on that map. Because He like looks back at the guy and it keeps running. It's so funny. I have that game on Xbox. I need to play it at some point. What is this? Oh, I already been to that one. Oh, Exile's a Habit. I've heard that.
You're probably due an explanation.
We got That Choice.
It's funny how it took so long to realize. I thought I was alone trying to live lies.
Machine Drum. Oh. Has no 25-day error in it? Wait, really? I know it has a reset though, right? I could have. Hasn't someone hit reset on Spaceland?
Yeah, the sky fell down and I kind of thought no big deal. She said she'd rather meet the devil than be dealing with these credit card bills.
I think after about a week of playing Infinite Warfare, I was able to get a whatever it's called. I got a 60. I got a 60 on that map, and I was pretty proud of that. It's kind of hard to start. I definitely want to go back and play at some point. Sounds so weird. Did that patch the game? There was never another reset? Really? Do people test Infinite Warfare the same way that, like, we test Black Ops 4 and all that stuff? And other people test other games? How many people are really actually on Infinite Warfare testing, aside from strategies and everything? How many people are there actually like going around testing stuff? And there's just no reset. Oh, wait a second. Wait, so reset is no 25-day error, and there's not a reset? Is what I'm hearing correctly, right? Or that hasn't been hit again? That sounds like a game that needs some liberation. That needs some liberty. By me. Is there... I mean, I have so many questions now. Is there a round cap? Is there this? Is there that? If that game is like... But there's resets, but there's too many things that happen that errors. Okay, gotcha. Round 6000 space helmet Easter egg on Infinite Warfare. I'll get it first, easy, no issue. What are the... What are the resets on the map, then? Same system as BO2? Okay. Yeah, that's why I knew... I didn't think there was instas. I haven't ever seen stuff like instas on that from footage I've seen, but... I mean, if the... Oh, look at that. 70 hours. Yay! This is my, what, third longest game ever? Yeah, it's my third longest game ever now. Okay, cool. Nice. I'm just about a seventh or so of the way there to my other game. At the pace I'm going at, it'll take me about 16 months to get there. So I need to actually like pick it up some and actually play. That's the thing that draws me to Black Ops 4 so much, is the fact that there realistically isn't a reset. That's what I like this game. There might as well not even be a reset on the game. I mean, 500 hours. It doesn't even count at that point. That's why I like the game so much. I'm not limited. I have the knowledge, like, in peace of mind that I'm pretty much not limited until I actually hit reset for the first time on this game, which hopefully, you know, this game I'll do it. Be pretty cool. Hit 500 hour error. But I got robbed. The more I thought about it, I got so robbed on that one game of whatever the map was on tag. I was robbed. I should have had that. Should have been it. I should have been able to never touch this game again. I should have been free after that. But with the Battlefield 6 coming out in just about a week here, I know I'll be... I already bought that, actually. I already pre-ordered it, so... Ooh, hold on. Information. This is cool stuff. Hold on. Okay, so Spaceland 114, but every modern game ends at 40 to 60 hours? Really? Brave is 170 to 230. Casual, a 60-hour gap there that you might reset in. 90 to 110. Or error is that? Shaolin is 90 to 10. Or 90 to 110. Wait, sorry, I'm reading things wrong. Oh, no, Shaolin, 110, but everyone errors about 25 to 40 hours in? What in the Origins? Then we got Beast, reset is 120, but everyone dies because the map's too hard. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that map looks like a pain to play. From what I've seen of it. Are the errors realistically avoidable, or are they pretty much you're gonna just based off the way you play, you'll forcibly run into it at some point? Like tag is, you know, realistically avoidable. Alpha and the other maps are realistically avoidable. You don't teleport, you know. Is there some mechanic on the map that you technically don't have to interact with and still actually, like, viably play the map, or? No one wants to Volt Ray in the hallway for 148 hours? You highly underestimate people's patience. I can name at least 5 people off the top back, like, you know, hand right now who if they liked that game and played it, they would do it. Bejerus, IMZ, probably not Chief. I don't think Chief would do it. Daybreak, Dirks would do it probably. I mean, Dirks might. These are just Black Ops 4 players. I bet Sluya and Furt would also do it if they actually like the game too, but I doubt it, actually. I would do it. That's that's up my alley of stuff to do. I can press a button for a long time on end. I feel like I'm pretty skilled in that sense. I gotta find a video to watch. I'm like dying. What to watch? On TAC, you hit 2 buttons to pick up and drop the device every half second until you see a Krog. And then you just slide into him with Trailblazers. That's the PhD slider, I assume, of that game. That's also kind of like... I think Bomb Stoppers is the one that... I've played a little bit of it. I think Bomb Stoppers is the one that actually negates, like, explosive damage, I thought. And yeah, Trailblazers gives you like increased slide distance and like sets like your trail on, it sets it on fire. I don't know. I actually like never even like, I don't think I've even purchased all of those perks before. I love the ability in that game where you're able to like spit out the gum and choose a different perk. That's so smart. I have to go through and unlock so many things in that game, though. Like, there's just... I would need to actually familiarize myself with that game, like, to a deep extent first, as well. Excuse me, zombies. Well, that could have been bad there. I swear that's a max ammo. Well, we'll find out here in a second. I have no more save me ammo as well, which kind of sucks. Oh, look at that. It is. Unconventional, but we'll go this way. Yeah, that's fine. That works. Okay. It works as long as I don't die. I don't have the best circle placement right now either. This game's gonna be, oh, so much faster. If I actually got good dog rounds in here, I wonder if I could get maybe potentially 490. Well, the back-to-back 279. That's like the round I'm going to be on when I hit 100 hours. That's crazy. Well, again, I'd never bowled anything higher than a I don't know, like a 70 something. I'm paused on 95. On what map? Oh, Verrucked. Wait, it's Verrucked. I think that's what you were playing last. Gen Guy's PS4 and let's go. What map is he gonna play first? I don't know. You know, I've actually been like starting to mute that as well. On the like super duper off chance that I wonder if that icon in the top left showing up throughout the game so many times might cause a crash. I started doing that just so it doesn't like show up there anymore. Like likely that's not a thing at all, but you know. Rave error basically unavoidable. Oh, hold on. Let me not die real quick. Anyway, you kill Shadow. Ninja's teleporting. Wow, look at that. Teleporting zombies causes an error. Too much happens and adds of random variables. Ah. I've heard that the high round strategy on Shaolin is like, oh, just like basically complete the Easter egg first. And then, or like almost. And I've also heard that map is like really awful to high round. But it has that one lady in it, so it's fine. What is this? Oh, Weaken the Rage and Cringe. Nova Online World of T-shirts.
My friends, I'm gonna be real with y'all. The hardest thing about making these videos for me is how I'm gonna start it. And I can't quite figure out how to start this one, so I'm just gonna run down the list of things you're going to see. The never-ending crash out that is the life of World of T-shirts. I mean, you're gonna see fry baggings, you're gonna see a lot of cringe, and you're gonna see influencers such as Jack Doherty who just can't keep their hands off of Josh Block. The large Chone, Nova Online.
Dude, I am so ready for someone, for Jack Doherty, that kid, who is my age, by the way. I am so ready for him to do something stupid and something bad happens. Like, I want him to do something stupid and just... I don't know. I am waiting for the day where he messes with someone who is just a little bit too unstable. And I don't know. The heart, which is rechargeable tactical that kills every 8 seconds. Is after round 20. Dun dun dun. We'll never know. I know. It's there's a character limit. You're fine. Ninjas teleport in front of you and facing kick you. 2 hits of health. Okay, so in the wonderful video I saw, it looks like they only, so he said in the video they only teleport to you when you're like running around. So if you just like actively sit in one corner, actually no, but you can't just sit in a corner though with an 8 seconds to recharge. Yeah, well, never mind then. Probably not feasible. Odd.
Groveling back to TikTok to do what he knows best, and that is just drinking a bunch of sugary shit, eating a bunch of sugary candy, and also promoting a fucking OnlyFans for his karaoke videos. I don't think that's how you use that website, but Chris Chan, think he had a stroke. We'll talk about that soon enough. Not really, though. Tony Chase has had 2 things on his mind the past few weeks. Number 1 is that he wants the Satellite Man to stop trying to blow his ass out on the bus, and also first off, I know that probably caught you off guard, but secondly,
But
he
Amber
needs
runs with the sword, so
female
yeah,
celebrities,
to
or
move
really
ninjas.
any celebrities, to call him up because he wants to hang out with them.
There's you
As
faster.
Tony
Oh
puts it,
my gosh.
he's an A-list celebrity. It's time to start making celebrity friends. Also, surprisingly, we have a pretty major update on Daniel Larson, but I'm just going to tell you right now, that major update is that we won't be hearing anything from him for the foreseeable future, as it's been for the past year and a half. And also, Andy Ditch. God damn it. I mean, he sucks. I'm not going to show you his face. I lied. I totally lied. There's Andy Ditch's face, and we will get
Andy
to him
Ditch?
as well. But I think the best place to start is the story of Josh Block, World of T-Shirts. And if you've been following along with this guy's story, you'll know full well that he gets so pissed off when people run up to him on the street or wherever it is and tell him to put the fries in the bag.
A fry
But
by?
it's been happening so much over the past year that he's kind of grown accustomed to it. And with that happening, it's causing a lot of these weirdos who go and find Josh on the street to do this to him to get a lot more crazy in their attempts of doing so.
You're unemployed. Put the fries in the bag. Put the fries in the bag. Put the fries in the bag.
Honestly,
Josh,
that's
you're
like not even
unemployed.
like...
You're broke. You're broke. You're unemployed.
Okay, it's like... it's a little funny. It's kind of screwed up, though. Like, I feel so bad for that Joshua Block guy. But, like, who goes, like, out of their way to, like, just verbally harass the, like, oh, come on. It's not even like a satisfying funny, like, oh, you deserved it, you know? Just like that's what you do with your free time, is you, like, find these, like, this random guy on the internet, and you just, like, yell at him. Kind of crazy.
You're unemployed. You're unemployed. Josh, put the fries in the bag. Put the fries in the bag.
Oh, see, no,
Put them in the
they're...
bag. Right now. Put them in the bag.
Oh, no, that's actually... No, they're touching him. You, like, as in, like... Okay, like... You know what I mean. They're, like, grabbing him by the shirt and pulling him back. No. That's screwed up. You don't do that.
You're unemployed. I make more than you. You're unemployed.
Dude, this guy, like, they're genuinely just harassing a guy who has a mental disability. That's all they're doing. Physically and verbally. Like, what are we doing? Unplayable with errors. Community has been fighting for item 7 to patch the variables, stop error. I think the issue with the BO4 is the devs for that had like a huge falling out, and so pretty much nothing more is going to be pushed for the client that I can imagine. The main issue with client is it's not suitable for high rounds at all. There have been high rounds, but just not, you can't play high rounds on client in the same way that you can on console. It's just not stable enough. I don't know why. There are also, from what I heard, promises of a hibernation or something similar, so you don't have to keep your computer on the entire game, but that never came. And to an extent, I can understand being mad about that, but also, and here's my thing, these guys aren't only just, like, working on zombies. They are working for, like, on the entirety of the Black Ops 4. That means Blackout, multiplayer, League play? No. But there are so many more things that they have to do. Or that they have to do. They can't just, like, focus all their energy on zombies only. Which is understandable. So, plus, these guys are doing it as a hobby. Yeah, it would be nice to have some things added. But at the end of the day, they're doing it absolutely for free. You know? And likely actually probably putting some of their own money into it. So, it's like complaining about a free game. You know, like, oh my gosh, I hate Fortnite so much. I hate playing Fortnite. This game sucks. It's absolutely free. You know, Like, it didn't cost you a cent. Now, like, if you hate Fortnite because it introduced battle passes into the gaming sphere, then, oh, 100% I agree with you. But, like, at the end of the day, it's a free project, so it's... there's so much leeway room I can give with it. It's fine. Very useful for speedruns, though. Like, high rounds are pretty much only ever done on console anymore. Everything else is done on PC. So...
You're unemployed! Put him in the back! Put him in the bag, bro.
Can't play 230 hours of Rape. That's the one thing I wish. I wish all the games were like super. Okay, I mean obviously I think everyone does. I'm happy that Black Ops 4 is stable. That is one of the best things about it. I don't know what the heck they did between like the launch of this game and the end of its life cycle, but whatever they did, I don't know why they haven't done that with other games. I don't know how they managed to make this game so unbelievably stable. It's the most stable zombies game of all time. I'm a ravist. That's kind of like pushing it, saying, "Oh man, I love my fellow ravists." A few letters off of some pretty bad things. I don't know what they did with Black Ops 4 though, but I love it. Although there are still some like really stupid crashes in this game. A lot of them are pretty easy to single out and identify. Like, we just now are learning about, Jake and I, the charms, you know, weapon charms you can equip on your weapons and all that. It seemed, we need to do more, I'm actually starting up a test on PC tonight with it, but it seems like weapon charms actually cause you to crash, which is the weirdest thing ever. It seems like it's happening between, like, at rounds, like, 280 to 320, maybe, or about 250 hours in. Give or take one of the two. It's such a weird one. We've had consistent crashes now, testing by putting charms on our weapons. So, I'm actually going to start another one up tonight. I'm going to put a charm on my weapon, and I'm then going to put the weapon away, so hold out something else. And see if it crashes. If it still crashes, then shoot, I don't know then. I actually might even be able to get two, no, I'll just wait until Friday to do another test. That's what I'll do. But
Did he punch you? Bro, he's running after me. Wait, did you crash in the back? What? Did he punch you? No. You have the glasses on there? Yeah. You got TikTok? What?
this broccoli head. To attack arrows like her BO2. You guys have access, I mean, a client, I would assume, obviously, yeah. And with that being the case, I'll also assume you guys likely have like a mod menu, kind of similar to Black Ops 4's Abomination. Maybe not something as like a strat tester, but even just like a mod menu that you can change rounds, give yourself weapons, and do certain things, no clip. Even that would be like fine. I mean, I've probably done like 30 or 40 tests on Black Ops 4. Testing certain stuff. I mean, shoot, I've even done tests that have taken a literal month to complete, like, in real life time. So. Basically, all I did do was I make a checklist of everything that might in my head might cause a crash, and I just start going down the checklist one by one from what seems most probable to the least probable. So. Never happened again, I know. It's finding a way to play without running into errors is the hardest part. Not even like there's 1,000 different ways you could probably play those maps, I bet. Like on this here. But, you know, I would imagine you obviously want the fastest one and the one that doesn't cause errors. And finding both of those in one go is it's not likely ever.
Fries in the bag! Fries in the bag! Fries in the bag!
Dude, they're actually literally just like
Now, I bet you thought that was pretty annoying, right? Well, what if I told you it's not just people on the street fry bagging Josh, it's also like other niche internet celebrities on stream with him. Because do you remember the Island Boys? Those two strange brothers who got caught
didn't they like
kissing
kiss?
each other?
I was gonna say,
That's a whole
yeah,
story.
weren't they like kissing each other or something? I'm an island boy. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And then you're my brother. Mwah, mwah. That's them or something. Leo, and I'm being... Ways to kill him. Two maps are the most played I've tried. Yeah. Dang. Yeah, there's only so many things you can do, I bet. I feel like, oh my, yeah, Spaceland as well. Like, imagine how many things you would have to test just to, like, narrow something down on that. There are so many moving parts on that map. Not like geometry where the map moves around, but you have that one robo dude that I think you have to build for tickets or for something. I don't know. Maybe you don't even have to build them. I don't know. There's so many things on that map that I feel like could cause a crash. That's got to be such a, like... a pain actually going through and testing stuff. Like, if you were just to sit and spawn the entire game with invincibility, would you make it to reset? And, you know, if you can, well, then you just start pushing out from there. See what you can do each time you do it. That's okay. That's actually how I did. That's how I first tested tag. Actually, speaking of which, I have a sheet from back in 2023 when I first started testing that map. I wonder if I can find it. In here somewhere. Here it is. Tag testing sheet. Back on April 1st of 2023 is when I started testing this stuff. Over 2 years ago. 2.5 almost. I did all the initial conditions of the game. And I started the game. See, it lasted 108 hours just because I froze. My computer froze. But, like, that was the first indicator that something in this list here lets me bypass the 90-hour crash that we always have. So I started going through every single thing one after another. I was going to test, like, every single possible combination of this here. Until Zombie Guru came along and just, like, instantly guessed that it was Pack-a-Punch. Can't believe that. Oh, wait. So, Jumpy, does he make mods and all of that stuff? Like, I assume he knows how to make mods, do things like that around that. Okay. Do you, as far as you're aware of, do you know of any times he's ever made like a mod or something for Black Ops 4? I have been wanting for the longest time. I can actually show you kind of like something similar to it. Real quickly here. BO3 spawn zones explained. I wonder if I can find it. It's in zombies. I don't know if I can find it. It was a video that someone made, though. There's me. Hi, me. And it showed, like, basically, from wherever you were standing on the map, it showed all of the surrounding spawn points of the zombies. It, like, put, like, a 2D image over top of where the zombies would spawn, depending on where you're standing in the map. I don't know. Maybe it was from OJumpy. BO3. It actually might have been him, potentially. No, it wasn't. I would actually pay. I would want to know how much it costs, but I would actually pay for something like that. That would be so unbelievably useful. Because the zones in Black Ops 4 aren't BO3 mods. Oh, okay. I would love to. I tried also asking Scrappy, but he said he was busy with other things at the moment. I'm like, okay, that's fine, you know. I mean, I'm going in asking him, so if he says no, what am I gonna do? Say nuh-uh? No, I can't. I might have to, I might send him a DM then. I kind of want to ask about it. If it's possible that he, A, knows how to do it, and if he does know how, if that's a possibility. And if it is... Crush to get the arrow tracker, because I bet. All it would be is that way. I just need to be able to visualize where on the map are the zombies spawning for that stuff. I can't imagine that would be the hardest thing ever. Just, you know, okay, the game already keeps track of what points the zombies spawn from. I don't know how hard it would be to overlay like a little 2D image of it. And set the, like, opacity to true if it's active, and false to if it's not active. We'd pay $1,200 for it. Oh my gosh. That must be a good error tracker then. Better be a high quality error tracker. Jeez. I don't know if I'm willing to pay that much. Not even close, no. I would rather learn how to code myself and do it. But, you know. What does an error tracker even do? That keeps track of certain stuff. I don't know what that would even do. I would have to imagine that it keeps track of, like... It keeps track of, like, what, certain variables of that across the map. And actually displays the numbers to you. Interesting. I wish I knew how to do that stuff. I really wish I knew how to do that stuff. I don't even know where to begin, though, when it comes to creating a mod for a game. I actually have no idea where to begin with that stuff. If I knew how to do it, I would. I would. You know what I'll do? Look at a YouTube. Let's just like do a very broad search here on YouTube real quickly. Like, okay, how to make a mod for BO3 zombies. You know. Okay, let's go actually BO1. Yeah, like it doesn't give you anything of use here. That's the thing.
Once this is done downloading, it'll...
Like, what the heck even is this? Like, there's just... Like, there's how to install them, but, like, how to create them is completely different. Like, if I search on Google, would I even get better results? Like, yeah. Like, this is... I just wish I knew how to do that stuff. I really do. BO3 has there's Infinite Warfare has, oh my gosh. 41,000. That's 41,000. Oh, that's for Spaceland. Oh my gosh. That sounds awful. Yeah, if I knew even I don't even know like where to begin for this stuff. Oh, every map on Infinite Warfare. Okay. What time is it? It is 8:13. I'll finish this round here, then I'll be done for the night. Round actually should be over anyways in a few minutes. What if I can ask Evelyn? Maybe she might know. I think she is self-taught, so...
From the montage that got all of the attention, so the montage had nothing to do with it. I struggle to believe anyone did an investigation of a 6-hour stream all within that 24-hour period. The notion is ridiculous, and it's hilarious for Call of Shame to assert that Twitch is some kind of authority on cheating. So just to recap on what we've covered so far, Call of Shame lied about Riley being banned by EA, he lied about Riley using multiple accounts, he lied about Riley's appeal being denied last year, And his use of AI is so egregious and lazy that it literally creates entirely new documents with obvious spelling mistakes that he fails to notice. These are the big lies that make him completely unreliable, but as we will soon see, he basically lies about everything. Here, Call of Shame shows the Steam group from Team EXE and says they all have game bans attached to their account.
They have a whole bunch of cheaters actively in this so-called org, if you can call it that. I mean, come on. They all have game bans assigned to their accounts. It's just laughable at this point. The same org that Enders and Riley are in are all cheating. I'm not making this up, people. You can check it yourself. It's insane.
Call of Shame says to check it out yourself, so I did. The group has a total of 93 members. You would think, given what Call of Shame said, that most of these accounts would have bans, if not all of them, as he literally said. But of those 93 members, only 5 of them have bans associated with their Steam accounts. 3 of them are for bans that were 6, 7, and 10 years ago, respectively.
6, 7.
And the other 2 are 1 year and 2 years ago. So 5 out of 93 members have a ban of some kind, with 3 of those being over 6 years ago. And Call of Shame says all of the players have bans.
They have a whole bunch of cheaters actively in this so-called org, if you can call it that. I mean, come on. They all have game bans assigned to their accounts. It's just laughable at this point.
Again, this isn't a defense of Team EXE. It is only to show that Call of Shame says things that are false and uses extreme hyperbole to make points. And really, saying he uses extreme hyperbole is basically me being nice. It's essentially just lying. Call of Shame's use of logic is astoundingly poor, which is evidenced by the way he talks about Shimmy. Shimmy was the Team EXE member that was kicked off the team for using...
Like, I hate streamers as much, like, your Warzone streamers. Like, okay. What's that one quote from, Incredible, or Incredibles 2? Once everyone is super, no one is? That's literally what has happened. That is what's happened with Warzone. Once everyone is good, no one is.
An aimbot in Battlefield and Call of Duty, and then it was uncovered that he was also cheating in Kovacs as well. I made a whole video about this a few months ago, but listen to how Call of Shame describes this situation.
Team EXE, or XE, whatever you want to call them, I don't really care. They had to make a public statement and admit he was using soft aim. And because the situation was so public, they really had no other option.
Forgive my French, but this is truly fucking stupid. He says that Team EXE removed Shimmy because the situation was so public.
Why do people say forgive my French? What's the... Hold on. Why do people say forgive my French? Ah! Why do Americans say pardon my French after swear? Okay, Reddit. Ah, oh, ho, ho, look at me. I'm on r/French. Guys, ha ha ha. I'm so much superior than you. Ha ha ha. Our flag is pure white. Ha ha. When the educated class would have spoken French. The uneducated masses. Oh, look how superior I am. Found this behavior silly and started mocking them. So after they said something vulgar, they would say, excuse my French, to take the piss out of those more pretentious people. And don't we say Irish goodbye in English? Yeah, we do. And goodbye without anything, yep. Guys, I need Reddit, comma, blah, blah.
They had no choice.
Look at me
because the
making a
situation
socially
was
acceptable
so
post.
public, they really had no other option.
That is an amazing claim. When Shimmy was banned, no one outside of a tiny community knew who he was. Shimmy's montages, the ones he cheated in, have a grand total of 6,000 views. And that's months after I and other people heavily covered this story. Shimmy was an absolute nobody when he was kicked. Riley's montage that blew up, which is apparently obvious cheating as well, has almost 100 million impressions. So according to Call of Shame, Shimmy's cheating, with his montages that had just a few hundred views at the
Dude,
time,
someone just,
was
like,
so
flat out
public
stopped
that
him in
Team
its tracks.
EXE had no choice but to kick him, but Riley's 100 million view montage that caused major public outcry was not. This makes no sense to anyone with an IQ higher than a loaf of bread. What really needs to be made clear is that it was the AIM community itself that exposed Shimmy, not people from outside it. It is insanely disingenuous to say that the AIM community was fooled when it was the AIM community itself that exposed Shimmy and kicked him out within a month of him using an aimbot. I suppose this really was a no-win situation. Team EXE uncovering and kicking a cheater is used as proof that the team has cheaters in it and that they protect them. It's not used as evidence that they can identify and kick cheaters. The very thing that they did is used as evidence for the complete opposite. The AI slot truly shines in this segment talking about Shimmy.
This is Shimmy's own gameplay recorded on Aim Trainer. Looks pretty solid, right? Well, now we know he was actually using an aimbot. So anyone claiming that great aim from Aim Trainer alone proves legitimacy can throw that argument out the window. I've just proven it false.
Notice the weird grammar. And it doesn't even know what Kovacs is called. It just calls it Aim Trainer. Personally, I never said that being good at aiming means you aren't cheating. I've seen other people say that, but anyone who has watched my channel would know I would never make that claim myself. World-class players cheat all the time. Being very skilled at a game doesn't make you immune to cheating. In my video, I talked about the
Makes
AIM
it more likely
community
to,
and said
actually.
they have better aim than professional esports players. This was not to defend Riley and say that she isn't cheating. It was simply to dispel this misconception that esports pros have the best aim, which is demonstrably false. This misconception was being used as evidence for cheating.
But I don't. When you have people that are perceptually very, very good players, but they're not entering competitions and they're not winning competitions, I generally assume that they're probably cheaters.
I don't think the person was cheating, honestly. Like, I did at first, but when you are so, like, intimately aware of the things that can go on in a game, like, you're gonna do some very questionable things that most people are gonna be like completely like, what? You know. It's just, at one point, it's just patterns, so, you know, but. Alright, 242. I played my 2 rounds for the day. I'm done. I'm getting off for the night. And I'm gonna go try and work on school, but probably just procrastinate and not, so we'll see. Nice.